He's a rich, woke, white man who claims to sympathise with Indigenous people, and he's disagreeing with an Indigenous woman whose family has endured their share of disadvantage and violence over the years. How's the irony of this, Amanda? Do you find it amusing? I mean, it's tragic as well, but surely it's kind of funny too.
Well, look, the irony in it is a little bit humorous because it seems that Mr Fitzsimons has very little insight as to how much he offends the precepts of the ideology he so actively fights for in his public contributions. Personally, I don't love the identity politics approach to things. Personally, I think we should judge people on the quality of what they say rather than the quality of the colour of their skin, for instance. But you cannot argue with the quality of the experience of this disadvantage and of these challenges that Jacinta Price brings to the Senate. She knows her stuff. So rather than lecturing to her, let's get on with it.
One of the questions Fitzsimons asked was, quote, "Does it ever bother you to look around you and see that among your supporters are people with little or no respect for Aboriginal people," unquote. He was citing in particular Pauline Hanson, who is, like you were, a Queensland senator. Amanda, is this correct? Does Pauline Hanson have no respect for Aboriginal people?
Look, I think blanket claims like that are always dangerous. As they say, the line between good and evil runs through the heart of every person. There are no plain good or plain bad people, and everyone's a work in progress. I think it's also unfair to try and tar a senator with the sins of the people somewhere out in the community who might have done something wrong or might have a view that they might disagree with. The nature of being a public figure is you need to listen to and talk to people from all walks of life, from all different political perspectives, and from views that disagree with your own. It's part of the reason why I fought so hard against efforts made by then Senator Christina Keneally to try and deplatform me for speaking to people with whom she disagreed. She tried to suggest that by talking to someone whose views she didn't like, I got, by some sort of magical transference, tarred with whatever views that person held. You can't be a good representative unless you listen to and talk with people from all walks of life and from all points in the spectrum of belief.
Well, one of the comments Fitzsimons didn't seem to understand is that Price sees herself as not just Indigenous. She's first and foremost an Australian, and a proud one at that. He then ends the interview with the excruciating question, quote, "Are you absolutely sure that you are doing and saying the right thing?" unquote. His lack of respect is, to put it bluntly, Amanda, quite astonishing. How do we resolve this kind of impasse?
You know, if you had asked that question of another Indigenous Member of Parliament, let's say Lydia Thorpe, you'd be accused of gaslighting, of undermining that person's confidence in their own beliefs by repeatedly suggesting they're mistaken. It's very funny how differently these things are when the shoe is on the other foot.